Tonight on RCVTV, we're going to be taking a look at the Plato from Aspire. Alright guys, here's our up-close look at the Plato from Aspire. We're going to tear open the box here. First up we have our mod itself, which we'll talk about in detail in a moment here. Underneath the tray we have our paperwork up first. We have our authenticity checker from Aspire. They have done it a little bit differently than most. They have also given you a chance to win something with this, so definitely check it out on their website. You have your warranty card as well, which stipulates the terms of the warranty, a 3-month warranty, but it does need proof of purchase to validate that. So definitely hang on to your paperwork, your receipts, in case you have any issues. Then we have our user manual here, quite a beefy user manual, but it is multiple languages, so don't be scared by it. You do have detailed information on your screen controls, the different coils, how to prime, that type of thing. So if you forget anything we've gone over today, it is in the manual here, as well as something we're not going to be going over today, which is the customization of the device itself. I'll talk more about that in a moment as well. Then in here we have the physical extras. We have some spare plugs for our tank. We have a battery and Aspire cell there, which is a 2500 mAh 18650. Perfect for Aspire to include something like that. That's not something you see a lot these days. Then we have our charging cord. We can use this charging cord to charge our battery right through the device in the USB port at the front there, micro USB. It does not feature pass-through charging, however, so if you want to vape and charge at the same time, sadly you are going to have to unplug the device before you can start vaping on it. So good idea to let it get fully charged before you start puffing away, but your call on that. Set that aside. Then we have two drip tip choices. We have a stainless steel one down here, as well as a Delron / Palm style one, a plasticky one. And then we have our tool for opening the device and a sub-ohm coil. The coil that comes installed in here is a 1.8 ohm Nautilus style coil. This coil is a 0.4 ohm coil, more akin to the Cleto style coils. However, it is specific to this device. We will show you how to mount and install both of those coils because there is a little bit different procedure for each of them. So let's take out everything we need here and then we'll talk about changing coils. There's our tool. We'll take the plastic style drip tip and our Cleto style coil. All right. Gonna tear this guy apart now, show you the internals here. So first things first, let's take a peek at the tank. Let's slide off our shield there. That exposes our currently 5.6 mil tank with the Nautilus style coil, non-sub-ohm coil installed in there. If we switched over to the sub-ohm 0.4 coil, we would drop our capacity to 4.6 mils. It does change just because the coil is a bit bigger there. So first things up, we have our plugs. This is our filling plug on this end, our draining plug. We do have to empty the tank out when changing the coil or else it would get very, very messy. So they have included that for you there. Now up at the top, this is where our drip tip sits. It's also how we get to the coil. So before installing our drip tip, I'm going to show you how to change out the coils on this bad boy. So first up, grab our little tool here, slot it into the slots Aspire is cut in, and just start turning, lefty-loosey. Bear with me here as this does take a few turns to get open. Now these last few turns, it will just spin a little bit if you keep going. So I like to grab it so we can pull up at the same time, just with my fingernails here. A few last turns and it should pop loose here. There we are. That core just pulls out. Now without the coil threaded in there, the glass does sit loose. So be careful if you're, up high above a hardwood floor or something, you don't want that falling out and shattering on you. We'll just set that there. So now looking closer at the Nautilus chimney and coil, we do have a different step than just mounting the coil in there and going. It does unscrew the same way as your standard coil, just lefty-loosey. So if this was all burnt out and tasting nasty on you, you'd take this guy out, throw it in the garbage, grab your fresh one from a pack there, and just screw it in. But we have to make sure this center core is screwed all the way down. Sometimes when loosening the Nautilus coil, this will also come loose and spin freely. If that is not cinched in, your coil and chimney will not mount into the tank. So good idea to just cinch that in all the way, hold it tight with your fingers, and then screw in the Nautilus coil. Now to reinstall this, we just drop it back into the tank. Make sure to hold your plug to the front so it doesn't spin around the back and make it inaccessible. Hold it to the front and use your tool to retighten that. I'm not going to do it at the moment because we are going to mount the other coil for our vaping purposes today, and we'll show you how to prime that as well. So, we unscrew this bad boy. There we are. I should mention with the Nautilus coil to prime this one before you mount it to the chimney. Not a bad idea to put 3 to 5 drops of juice down that center coil. Gets it so you can vape it right away. All right, now our sub-ohm coil. There she is right there. Now this does not have that center piece that unscrews, that changes on you. It is just ready to drop in and mount. So first things first though, we're gonna prime it up. Today we're gonna be using some Dexter from the RCV signature line. It's a fruity, loopy cereal killer. Very, very tasty stuff for you breakfast fans out there. So for priming, we don't have a top or bottom piece to put some drops in, but we do have these side slots. So we're just going to put a fair amount of juice, just a little bit on each one of these slots here. There we are. That should be ready to rock. And we'll drop that coil right in there. Now again, holding our center our top fill piece in place. We're going to tighten that down, righty-tighty this time. Takes a few turns again. All right, there we are, just finger tight, doesn't have to be crazy. And we'll pop open this top port, make sure our bottom port is closed, and our needle tip will actually just fit right in there. And start filling her up. I'm going to angle it so it kind of slides down. Yeah, see it popped out the side there from not angling it. Aspire shows not to angle it in their manual, but gravity is our friend. As that bubble disappears, we'll let off pressure on the bottle. Don't want to overfill, right about there should be good. And we pop our plug back into place. All right, let's get a battery into this bad boy and fire her up. So our Aspire cell has the positive and negative end marked here, as does the mod itself. So we're going to take the black negative end and slide it in first to the spring-loaded pin, and it just pops in like that. Now we're going to also place our drip tip on there and close it off. And I'll show you the screen. So when it first powers up, you get a choice here. You get your wattage mode, your regulated mode, and your temp control mode. Both of those will give you a further choice as well. So let's click on wattage first. Now we get our regulated or bypass mode. So if you do want to use this more like a mech, you can. We'll throw the raw power of the battery directly to the coil. We are going to pop it into regulated mode, and then it will ask us to confirm. Then we hit yes. Now our up and down arrows do as they do on most devices. They just control our wattage. They are a little bit different orientated than most mods, so that might throw you off at first. But the cool thing about this mod, if you're using it in your other hand, the screen will automatically reorientate for you. So whatever hand you're holding it in, you'll always see your info there. Just remember which button to press. Then for stealth mode, if we want to vape this without the light, without the screen on, we can give it 1, 2, 3 clicks, and that will shut her down. Then 3 clicks to bring it back. 1, 2, and 3. Now to lock the device, it is a 5 clicks. That is just purely to lock the fire button, not to turn the device off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we get our lock display. Now if you do want to shut the device completely off, you can. Once you're in lock mode with the 5 clicks, hold down the fire button for 3 more and it will shut itself off. There we are, system off. Give it a second and we'll give it 5 clicks to bring it back. And we're going to go into temp control this time. There's our Aspire logo loading. All right, it actually didn't give us that choice, but that's great. I can show you how to get back to it. We actually hold the plus and minus button together. There we are, and there's our choices again. So we're going to use this one to go down, the plus to go down on this one. Click on temp control mode. Now we have our choice between nickel, Ni, and titanium, Ti. All right, so we got it in nickel mode. We'll hit it there, confirming with the fire button. We're gonna confirm Fahrenheit, and then now we are asked a final question there. Are we in room temperature? So based off of where you are vaping, you know, if it's particularly cold or really warm, this is gonna change the way the heat ramps up on your device. So that's a pretty cool little feature for Aspire to include there. And then after we've confirmed that, just one final confirmation. If maybe you messed up, you can hit no and go back, but we're going to confirm that. Now we are showing our current Fahrenheit is set to 200 degrees, and then we have these big zeros here. So the zeros will show you the current temperature as you hit the fire button. So it's at 33 Fahrenheit there, and once it reaches 200, it'll cut out. If you're looking for a bit more information on temperature control, definitely check out our temp control video. A link will be down below in the description there for you guys. But we don't have a nickel or titanium coil on hand. We're going to switch back to wattage mode here. Let's click that back, two bottom buttons, click on fire, regulated, confirm. All right, so we are sitting at just around 41 watts there. Great place to start vaping on this guy on a 0.4 ohm coil, maybe a little bit lower, but I have tried this out at 41 and had no problems. So I should mention the different resistances for each mode there. In your standard mode, you're good down to 0.1 all the way up to 3 ohms. In bypass mode, you're good down to 0.2 all the way to 3 ohms. And in temp control modes, you are good for 0.05 to 2 ohms. Now, as I mentioned before, your little charging port there is also not going to work well using the device. You can only charge or vape, not both at the same time, no bypass. Give us a second here, guys. We're gonna flip it back up and show you how she vapes. Here we are, guys, our final look at the Aspire Plato. Got to mention a couple things that I forgot to up close and personal there. Number one, the customization. This is a very customizable device. You can change the layout of the screen, add logos, things like that. That is done through your PC by hooking it up with that micro USB and downloading the correct software from Aspire. Then you can play to your heart's content with that and make it your own. The other thing I did not mention was the overall wattage, sadly enough. It is a 50 watt max device. That can be a little different if you're running it in bypass mode. And then the actual temp ranges are from 200 degrees Fahrenheit all the way to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. So those are the ranges there. We're still set at 41 watts at the moment. Let's take a pull off this bad boy and see how that Dexter's tasting. Pretty tasty. That was on a closed off airflow control there on the bottom. Well, let's open that up just by twisting it there, get it wide open and show you what this bad boy can do. Pretty impressive from a starter kit, you know. And that would be another great thing about this mod, is it's really going to grow with you. You know, you start off with those 1.8 ohm coils, a non-sub ohm setup, maybe some higher nicotine in there, and then when you're ready to jump into that sub ohm world, you don't need a new tank, you don't need a new mod, you just change that coil over and away you go, bump up the wattage, have a lot of fun. So that's really cool of Aspire to make something that's going to grow with you. Awesome for those starting out, awesome for those looking for a good little work mod or something, you know, durable and easily pocketable. But that's going to be it from us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always,
subscribe to the channel, like the videos,
follow us on Instagram and Twitter,
like us on Facebook, and until next time,
make smart choices.